Get lit. Get lit. Get lit. Everybody get lit right now. Get lit. Get lit.
Welcome back. This is the Diamond K Show. My name is Diamond K. Thank you for joining me and thank you for tuning in. So many of you may watch the show Meet the Press. It has a new moderator. Kristen Welker is the moderator, and she was a guest host and then a co-host and a fill-in host for this program over the last few months. It's been announced quite some time ago that she was going to be taking the place of Chuck Todd. And she had a very, very high stakes, very impactful interview. She had a sit down with the twice impeached, 4 times indicted, disgraced former president Donald Trump. There was a lot of risk and a little reward for Welker. I mean, it was high visibility. Since she has taken this role as moderator on the long-running Meet the Press, it's been mixed reviews. Folks have felt the way and not felt the way, but she's a great journalist, I think. When you put somebody like Trump on your airways, when you platform an individual like Trump, you're going to have mixed thoughts on it. You go back to 2016, 2015, mainstream media really aided Trump and gave him tons of free press, covering him because of his outrageousness, his outlandishness, his lies. They had never seen a candidate like Trump before. So a lot of things came from that. Now, because many of these mainstream journalists are trained the same way, they operate the same way. Kristen Welker allowed Donald Trump to make a number of statements that have a very difficult relationship with reality. She let him get away with a lot of lies. She didn't push back in a lot of key moments. There were a range of issues that she could have given some pushback. Now, she had her set of facts and she had her set of topics that she wanted to get to, and she did that. But he talked over her many points in time. And Trump is a rapid fire lie machine. He'll just lie like da 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 da. He'll do the usual song and dance. Excuse me. Are you ready? Like he does all that stuff, right? But I mean, he pretty much lied about every topic that Miss Welker brought up. Lied about pretty much everything. Now, I think she knew that going in. At least I knew going in that he was going to lie about mostly everything that he talked about. Now, through it all, of course, this is her first week as moderator. So things can improve. But she's had a significant time in preseason, to use a sports analogy. I got on my Ravens shirt. But it seemed like she was not ready for some of Trump's antics. Like she was ill-equipped to handle Trump's trademark swag, his bravado, his ability to bogart. She wasn't ready. Now, I don't know. At times she was timid, tried to set the facts straight. She made an attempt, but Trump's going to be Trump. Trump's going to be Trump, and he trumped all over her. She she did not do as well as I would have liked. But a sit-down interview with her is exactly what Trump wanted, someone that he could trample all over. It was like a bulldozer just dumping lies over top of the truth. Trump smelled her weakness, took full advantage of it, took complete control, and pretty much ignored Welker's helplessness. Constant. She tried to stay on track, and but their lies were fast. The lies were plentiful. Let me ask this question, please. Let me do this. Let me do that. Right? Trained. I think she went to Harvard. Trained, right? But not prepared for anything. Prepared for certain things. Prepared for other people that were trained the same way she was trained. She could do those interviews fine. But not prepared, Kristen Welker, for someone the likes of Donald Trump. A low moment, but for the most part, her career has been pristine. She's an excellent journalist. She's excellent at what she does. But this type of endeavor, this type of interview can have consequences. And with the 2024 election fast approaching, Trump is going to try to win the hearts and minds of viewers. So some people may question, why would they even give Trump the platform? Why would they give Donald Trump the platform to come on their airways? Why? Of course, they wanted the ratings. It was a ratings boost. And the powers that be, the producers, executives, knew that Welker having a guest like Trump, the debut of the Welker era, was going to be a ratings boost. So that was first and foremost. Executives, mainstream media, they want those ratings boosts. So a Trump sit down would, it would have alienated not an insignificant portion of the audience. CNN has had him on, and MSNBC's had him on. Obviously, Fox News has had him on, and the others, OAN and Newsmax, all those outlets have had him on for the reason of ratings. But somehow in 2023, the news media still does not know how to deal with Donald Trump. The very high-paid television anchors still not able to effectively cover Donald Trump. And even though he subverted democracy during the 2020 election, even though he actually inspired an insurrection of the U.S. Capitol, these journalists, these supposedly trained professionals, they still struggle with how to cover Donald Trump. They still argue that, at this juncture, they still argue for interviewing Donald Trump. There's no need to interview Donald Trump. At this point, we know who he is. We know what he is. After years and years of seeing how dishonestly he operates, after years and years of seeing how he lies, what exactly is there to gain from a sit down with Donald Trump other than ratings? What is there to gain? The almost certain result of sitting down with Donald Trump is going to be a constant stream of lies. I mean, he opens his mouth, lies come out, mixed with absurd grievances about how the system is supposedly unfair to him, how does this really serve the voting public? How does this really serve the viewing public? How does it? Now, some executives believe that Trump can make news during their interviews. If you press him on policy, any policy issue, it very rarely yields any kind of significant results. He doesn't focus on policy. He doesn't even know policy. He doesn't even know policy. And it's hard to believe that voters trying to decide whether to support him or not support him are going to do that based on a specific issue or his take on a specific issue. If it is necessary to interview Donald Trump, newsrooms should approach the task differently than they would any other interview. If you have an interview like the one on Meet the Press, which is recorded, you need to knock those lies down, right? You could do it in post-production. Democrats, one of the big problems with Democrats is they sometimes they operate like it's still the 90s, where Republicans, it just different sides of the same coin. It's a big mistake. It's a big mistake. In 2023, the Republican Party is very different than the Republican Party of the past. And its leader, the twice impeached, 4 times indicted, disgrace, Donald Trump, is no normal politician. And he is the leader of the Republican Party. So when you interview Donald Trump, the goal should not be to make news like one may attempt to do with a typical politician. The purpose of the interview must be to hold power to account. How do you do that? It must be about asserting facts in a meaningful way, forcing Donald Trump to confront them, forcing him to confront them. And of course, he still will lie. He will duck and dodge. He will talk about his grievances. But hopefully the audience can see through the showmanship, his charisma. And if the interviewer displays a firm grip on the facts, a firm grip on the subject matter, hopefully they can exert some command. Hopefully they can take control. But unfortunately, there are very few people in the mainstream press who can take on that assignment and have a proven capability, a proven track record for executing the very difficult task in a compelling way, because you got to have charisma and be compelling as well. Now, if this doesn't happen, then it is not good for the news industry. It is not good for the voting public, because Donald Trump will bulldoze over many of these folks, and they'll be baited in by the thought of good ratings, but then be taken apart by a masterful liar. Listen to the Diamond K Show. My name is Diamond K on Fire-TV, on ONFIRE-TV, Radio on Fire is where you go. The program we drop daily, 6 p.m. But of course, you can check us out anywhere you get your podcast. Just search the Diamond K Show. Visit ONFIRE-TV, ONFIRE-TV.com. Check out all of our programs. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to fact check We're going to fact check this Trump interview on Meet the Press. I'm going to talk about the difference between what Trump said and the reality of the very interesting interview. I will say that it was interesting, but of course, we'll do that and much more after this.
It ain't a real brunch unless it's iconic. Every Sunday, Belize Rooftop presents
Brunch on Sunday.
Brunch in Belize, featuring the L Show from 12 to 5. The best food, the best vibes, and the best view in the city. The Belize Rooftop Brunch with music by Super DJ Big L.
That's right, your boy Super DJ Big L. Brunch at Belize. You ain't never experienced brunch like this with the L Show. See you soon.
Get ready for Brunch at Belize Rooftop, featuring the L Show, each and every Sunday, 316 Guilford Ave. Doors open at 12 noon to 5 p.m. Music by Super DJ Big L. Come out and enjoy plump shrimp and grits and our signature chicken and waffles, home fries to die for, and $25 crafts of mimosas. For tickets and cabana reservations, go to brunchandbelize.eventbrite.com or call 667-256-5025. Island Vibes, no passport needed.
Welcome back. You made Diamond K in here, of course. The Diamond K Show on Fire TV, Radio on Fire. So we're talking about fact checking the twice impeached, 4 times indicted, disgraced former President Donald Trump. Now, at least 11 times during the interview with Kristen Welker, former president flubbed numbers, misstated facts, or just omitted critical context altogether. I mean, whether we're talking about immigration, whether you're talking about foreign policy, abortion, the very wide-ranging interview where he said that I have all the facts at one point, falsely claiming the 2020 election was rigged and that there was broad evidence of it. So the Trump presidency was marked by repeated false, exaggerated, misleading claims. Some of those claims even drove policy, while others triggered his impeachment. Trump's false view that the election was stolen helped land him and dozens of others in serious trouble in Georgia. If you remember, his one-time senior aide, Kellyanne Conway, even coined the phrase alternative facts in his defense, in defense of his lies. There's no such thing as alternative facts. The facts are the facts, right? And folks can say, this is their truth. No, there's no your truth. There is the truth. There is the truth. So you may question, wonder, you let some Republicans tell you, immigrants are flooding the United States. No. Trump claims that there were millions of illegal immigrants coming into our country, flooding our cities, flooding the countryside. I think the number is going to be 15 million people by the time you end this. By the end of this year, I think the real number is going to be 15 million people, Donald Trump said. All right, let's just address this right now. Border crossings are up significantly in the last 2 years. In fiscal year 2023, so far, the U.S. Border Patrol has apprehended or turned away more than 2.5 million people. Now, in fiscal year 2023, border crossings toppled 2022, topped at 2.7 million, breaking the previous record by more than 1 million. Now, because some immigrants make multiple border crossings, the numbers are slightly higher than the true total of immigrants at the southern border. Still, there is no evidence that 15 million people will cross the border this year. That's more than the total number of people, which 11.4 million, who the U.S. government estimates are here without legal authorization. So let's continue. Are a record number of terrorists crossing the border. Now, we're talking about immigration. Trump also said that there was a surge in terrorists crossing the border, seemingly referring to the southern border. I saw some statistics, he said, in 2019. There were no terrorists. They caught no terrorists, he said. And now this year, it's a record number like they've never seen before. Now, Trump is right that Border Patrol is having more encounters with people on the terrorist watch list at the southern border. But there were more such encounters in 2019 when he was president. And that's what I'm talking about, that context. Now, the number of all people, including U.S. citizens, on the terrorist watch list who were stopped at the southern border as of July of this fiscal year was 216. Now, you compare that with the 165 in all of fiscal year 2022. But the number of border crossers on the watch list was higher in fiscal year 2019 during the Trump administration, which was 280. 280. So actually, that was higher during the Trump administration. So did the U.S. give $85 billion worth of equipment to the Taliban? We gave $85 billion worth of equipment to the Taliban, Trump said, speaking about the Afghanistan withdrawal. That is a lie. The Defense Department estimated last year that the Afghan government had more than $7.1 billion in U.S.-funded military equipment in its possession when it fell to the Taliban in August of 2021 amid that chaotic withdrawal. Now, Trump's figure more closely mirrors the total cost of training, equipping, and supporting Afghan security forces over the last 20 years. $83 billion, according to a report from the special inspector general for Afghan reconstruction. So the actual number that Trump said that we gave was the whole number that we helped Afghan with. So that, and that's over 20 years. So that wasn't given to the Taliban. But like I said, context is important. Now, did people who never entered the Capitol on January 6th get long sentences? Now, I suppose without context. And so we have to have context. So some defendants who got some of the longest sentences of any participants in the January 6th U.S. Capitol insurrection included Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio and the Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes. They did not enter the Capitol themselves, but got lengthy sentences after they were convicted of seditious conspiracy. So some of the most vicious assaults of the Capitol attack were committed by people who never stepped foot in the building. Some of them got significant sentences as well. So some folks assaulted police on the steps or outside of the building and got lengthy sentences. Now, I suppose when we really analyze that, the statement was these people on January 6th, some of them never even went into the building, and they're being given sentences of many, many years. So the statement is true. But like I said, it just lacks context. So it is true, but there's a reason for that. So, we can look at that one with a grain of salt. Was the 2020 election rigged? So rigged and crooked. There is extensive proof that the 2020 election was not riddled with fraud. But Trump nonetheless said more than a dozen times that it was rigged. If this were even before a court, we would win so easy. There is so much evidence it was rigged, he said at one point. Now, for those that don't remember, for those Republicans that may not remember, for those independents or Democrats who may not remember, Trump and his supporters brought more than 50, that's 50, lawsuits to overturn the results of the elections. None succeeded. Trump said that there was proof of fraud in 2,000 mules and tapes of ballot stuffing, referring by name to the widely debunked film by Dinesh D'Souza, which showed people depositing multiple ballots in drop boxes in Atlanta. Now, according to the Associated Press, the Georgia State Election Board investigation determined that they were following the law and submitting ballots for themselves and family members who lived with them. So continuously, he goes back to stuff that went to court and was not proven. Not proven. Is bacon 5 times more expensive than it used to be? Things are not going very well right now, very well for the consumer, Trump says. Bacon is up 5 times. Food is horribly worse than energy, Trump said. Inflation is absolutely raising the cost of many things, including food. I don't have to tell you that. That's something that you know. Now, Trump exaggerated the price of pork. In U.S. cities, the average cost of sliced bacon is up about 12% from the end of his term in office, though at one point in 2022, it was 30% more expensive than it was at the end of 2020. So Trump is correct, however, to note that food inflation is far outpacing energy costs. So he is right on that part. Energy costs, which fell from August 2022 to last August, while food prices rose 4.3%. So this is something that you've often heard talked about, the Trump tax cuts. The Trump tax cuts. Now, more than likely, the Trump tax cuts did not help you, whoever is watching now. Trump said that he would like to further lower corporate tax rates and said that he wanted more income first. You have to get some income coming in. You know, when I lowered taxes, we took in more revenue. When I lowered taxes, I cut taxes tremendously, created tremendous jobs. But more importantly, we had more revenue with lower taxes than we did with higher taxes, he said. So tax receipts typically grow year over year when the economy is doing well, when the economy is growing. And they did after Trump's tax cuts too. But independent studies believe Trump's claim linking his tax cuts to higher revenue, I don't know. Now, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office projected that the law would raise the deficit by $1.4 trillion in the first decade, even factoring in its boost to economic growth. So when debt service costs are included, the deficit figure grows to $1.9 trillion. And numbers will continue to grow if the temporary tax cut in Trump's tax laws are extended. So there's so much. I mean, Trump claimed that Democrats wanted to murder babies. What are you talking about? This is something that Republicans tend to cling to when they talk about abortion. And some Democrats support broad access to abortion, regardless of the age of the fetus, right? No Democrat has advocated for it. Just 1% of abortions are performed after 20 weeks. Just 1%. There are limits to when you want to seek an abortion. Now, in terms of the mother, but Republicans will often say that Democrats want to kill the baby after the baby's born. Trump said after the baby's born, you want to kill the baby. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Nobody wants to kill the baby after the baby is born. But Trump first made the claim in 2019 after Virginia's governor at the time, Ralph Northam, made some controversial remarks in regards to an abortion bill. Now, the claim was debunked, reporting that Northam's remarks were about resuscitating infants with severe deformities or non-viable pregnancies. But this has turned to something else, and Democrats, no, let me say this. No one wants to get an abortion. It's not something like, we want to get an abortion. It is not something that is done happily. When folks make the decision and to do this is not something that Democrats believe that a woman has the right to choose. Republicans want to play this card that they are pro-life, but once the baby's born, what happened to all these pro-life policies, the platform of pro-life? No, they don't talk about it once the baby's born. It's a very, very controversial thing, but it is very easy to understand. Now, Trump talked about the border wall. He said that he built 500 miles of border wall. I almost built 500 miles of border wall, he said. Almost. Now, a Customs and Border Protection spokesman said in Trump's final days in office that the administration had built 453 miles of new border wall system, which included barriers as well as patrol roads for the cop cars and other surveillance efforts. The vast majority of it replaced pedestrian and vehicle barriers erected during the previous administrations with much taller steel fencing. Trump specifically and falsely claimed that he was building a completely new border wall throughout much of his administration, when in fact he just replaced older fences. Trump claimed that the news is no longer reporting about the war in Ukraine. They don't report about the war anymore. You don't find much reporting. That means Ukraine is losing. I see very little reporting from the NBC network, which is the network that Kristen Welker is on and the Meet the Press streams from. He says, I see very little reporting from NBC, ABC, from CBS, from anyone about the war. This is not true. Now, in the last couple of weeks alone, NBC published dozens of stories. You can find plenty of stories about the war in Ukraine, articles and videos and the such. My thoughts on the Ukraine war are probably different from the average person on the left. I definitely think that too much money has been sent to Ukraine. I think that the military-industrial complex and folks that benefit from war are shaping the narrative about why they think we should be sending all this money to Ukraine. I think that more money is going to Ukraine. A lot of that money could be spent domestically. But there's money in war, and it's not that they're just sending them, piles of cash. You have makers of weapons, and they're getting that money, and then that is what's being sent over. So you have withdrawal from Afghanistan, so they're not sending them the weapons to Afghanistan. Now we can send weapons to Ukraine, and it just continues. They don't care who they kill with these weapons as long as somebody is dying. Sad. Trump said that he was very unlikely to pardon himself if elected. Yeah, okay. Trump said that he'd testify under oath. He never ordered a Mar-a-Lago security video deleted. Yeah, okay. Trump said that Melania will be back on the campaign trail with him pretty soon. I guess. Trump criticized the UAW leadership amid this strike, warning that the auto workers' jobs are moving to China. This is the United Auto Workers. Trump says that he's pleased by Putin's praise. He said that he likes that. That's true. Trump said that he likes the concept of a female VP pick. Likes that concept, but some of the ladies that he would choose from for that pick, scary. Trump criticized Republicans pushing abortion bans with no exceptions. We're not going to win. It's probably true on that. Trump said that he doesn't worry about going to jail, said he doesn't even think about it. And he probably doesn't need to think about it because I don't think he's going to jail. I don't think he's going to jail. So it was an interesting interview.
Get lit.
As I said,
Get lit.
Miss Welker
Get lit. Everybody get lit right now.
should have pushed back
Get lit.
more on the interview
Get
with
lit.
Donald Trump. But she did it. She did the interview. She has taken over for Meet the Press. And, for the most part, she does a great job. But if she's dealing with somebody who is unorthodox, somebody who is not the traditional politician like Donald Trump, she's got to take a different strategy. She's got to put forth a different strategy. And hopefully she will get this thing together because the last thing we need is for these mainstream media outlets to present another round of free promotion and large platforms for Donald Trump and all of his shenanigans, all of his lies, all of we just don't need it. We don't need it. It is not good for the country. It's definitely not fair for the other politicians who are attempting to get the job. But it is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting as we continue to follow this presidential campaign, as we continue to get closer to this election. 2024 is fast approaching, and Donald Trump is going to be the Republican nominee. I think that folks need to face that. Folks need to accept that. And none of the other Republicans are even coming close. None of the other Republicans are even in the same stratosphere as Trump. I mean, it's like a joke or something. It's like a joke. Of course, on Fire TV, we produce daily independent news, educational, and entertainment shows. Of course, hosted by yours truly, Diamond K, and many others. Definitely want to thank folks. On Fire TV is funded entirely through advertisements and individual donations. We receive no corporate or government support. But without your support, our programs would not continue to survive and grow. So you can donate to OnFireTV.com/donate. And, you don't have to miss a minute. You can stream past episodes, on-demand episodes from any device. And as I said, we are a community-based news source where people can embrace their honest opinions. Our company develops and distributes original programming relevant in this country. And I am very excited for what we have coming up, what we have in the pike. Need to get in touch with me, djdiamondk@gmail.com, djdiamondk@gmail.com. Of course, I will be back here tomorrow with more of the program. Keep up with what we got going on. Tap into onfire-tv.com/join. Go to onfire-tv.com, hit the join button, and you can do this. And doing this allows you to access exclusive content while supporting this independent network, On Fire TV. Become an On Fire Plus member. You help us continue to do what we do here. You can always stream episodes of the Diamond K Show at onfire-tv.com. dj-tv.com/diamondk. I am here always, right? Because if I'm not live, then you can check me out on demand. And speaking of on demand, music submissions, booking, or any kind of business info, contact me, djdiamondk@gmail.com. You need me to spin at your event, party, whatever, you can book me. djdiamondk@gmail.com is how you do that.